house. Once again, starting in a wide-kneed child's pose. So big toes towards each other. Actually, I'm going to face you. So big toes towards each other, knees as wide as is comfortable for you. And then just allow the heart to be heavy towards the ground. Arms can extend and reach forward. You can begin to welcome some extra space into your shoulder girdle right away. Or if you need a little more comfort, a little more support, if this is pretty deep early on, you can make a cushion for your forehead with your hands, or even support yourself, sort of like a Sphinx pose here. Either way, let the back of the neck be long. So a slight tuck of the chin, a pull forward of the crown, and then a pull back of the ears. So the back of the neck is not only long, but it's wide. And feel free to let the eyes close or keep them open. If the eyes are open, I want you to notice where your attention is being drawn to. If it's something around the room, something that's not really related to your practice, I'm going to ask that you close your eyes. I really want you to be able to drop right into your practice today. To help you do that, begin to notice the breath. Perhaps modify the breath already by slowing it down. Recognizing that maybe there was some busyness to the morning. Perhaps you had to accomplish some tasks so that you could make class happen, or maybe you already did one class, you did Mimi's class, and you're already tired, but you're here on your mat. Whatever it is, acknowledging that, and then just kind of letting it soften into the background. Letting this be a new experience, starting fresh. Noticing that as the breath begins to slow down, the heart rate begins to slow down. You feel more relaxed and at ease. This week we're working with a version of aparigraha, non-attachment, but we're applying it in different ways in different classes. So today I'd like you to really try and apply this somehow to your intention. So as I speak for the next minute or so, just think about how you can make a specific intention for your practice today. A lot of times we think of aparigraha as non-attachment to either items, not having possessions accumulate, not having greed, things like that. But today, I would like you to think about it in the way of not having attachment to a result at the end of your work. Letting your goal not be to attain a certain level of strength today or flexibility, to not have your peak pose be your prize, but instead all of the effort, all of the work along the way. Let that be the reward today. So non-attachment to the end result. And by making space, by losing that attachment, you have more room to appreciate the time spent along the way. One way to think about it, as you notice my very realistic mountain behind me earlier, think about it as you're climbing this beautiful mountain with these beautiful views, but if you're only looking towards the top as you climb and that's all you see, then that's all you'll get your entire journey. You won't get the beautiful views along the way. So let today, while you climb your mountain, let your eyes wander. Notice the work being done and appreciate that, because we're not always promised that we're going to make it to the top of something. Or sometimes we will hold it in such high regard that when we do, we're kind of disappointed, or we feel like, what now? So lose those attachments. What we hold on to holds us. So give yourself some freedom to just enjoy your practice because you get to practice. Setting that as a personal intention somehow, perhaps not just for your practice, but for your day. feeling more expansion in the heart space as you do so, as if you are breathing in this thought, this intention, this fifth yama. Begin to wiggle through the fingers, maybe drum them on the mat. You can shift through the shoulders a bit, tap through the feet. Begin inviting in some movement to the body. Noticing if there's any specific places talking to you. Maybe they're a little sore or tired, depending on the classes that you've been doing this week. Maybe by the classes you haven't been doing. Maybe there's a little bit of fatigue. And then begin moving through these big circles. So you come from your wide knees child's pose. You press the hips and the chest all the way towards the left as you come over the wrists, and then all the way over to the right. And then switch directions. Over to the right, all the way to the left. Perhaps you'd like to do more of a slithery snake move forward, coming all the way onto the belly into that cobra, that back bend shape. Lift through the hips, bow the heart back down to a child's pose. Begin to be playful, curious in your practice. Again, just enjoying the time spent here. Eyes can be opened or closed, just finding some big movements that get really deeper into the hips, deeper into the shoulders than we normally would this early. If at any time you need to sit back towards the heels and roll out the wrists, please do so. When you're ready for your cat-cows, the spinal extension and flexion, I want you to begin by turning the fingers backwards, letting the palms be down, soft bends in the elbows, getting right into the wrists, stretching through the flexors and extensors by rotating which way the fingers are facing and which way the palms are, whether they're up or down. So just working your way through all of these different possibilities. Pressing the hips from side to side, moving intuitively. In fact, you can even get kind of weird with it because nobody can see you. So this isn't a time to be self-conscious. This isn't a time to enjoy the weirdness of your practice. Let that be a good thing. If we don't stay curious, if we don't stay playful, it doesn't stay fun. Come down to forearms, and then let the belly be all the way on the ground, Sphinx pose. Lifting up through the chest, pulling down through the shoulder blades behind you, hugging the spine. And then you're pushing down through the hands, through the elbows, and you feel your pubic bone begin to pull forward on the mat as you pull your hands back. And breathing here. Lifting high through the heart. Let this feel like work. Option to begin pressing into the hands, straightening through the arms. Perhaps tucking through the toes, lifting through the knees. Lowering all the way down. Good. Let's find our frog pose. Now you have the option to go back to that wide-kneed child's pose if your body just does not like frog. That's okay. So for frog, come to your table and then begin to separate the knees. Knees might come off the mat depending on how open your body is in this particular area. And let the heels separate as well, trying to keep the pelvis centered between the knees. Coming down to forearms, maybe down to belly. Same option as that child's pose we started at the beginning of class. Inviting in a softness here. Recognizing that this is pretty deep for early on, so being easy on yourself. Sending breath, sending relaxed energy to the hips. We're not forcing the hips open. We're just letting a softness and gravity and positioning do some opening for us. Maybe you can rock back a bit and rock forward, noticing any little edges that you feel. Those edges are where the body says, please stop. Please listen to those. And bring the heels towards each other and then tuck the toes a bit. That's going to help you bring the knees back under. Closed knee child's pose. Let this be a nice stretch for the low back, the glutes. We're going to go straight to our puppy pose now. So knees are about hip distance apart. You're going to keep the hips stacked over the knees, and you're going to start to walk the hands forward till the heart comes down, keeping the hips stacked over the knees the best you can. Forehead down, maybe chin down, depending on how open the body is, and the shoulders, the chest. Making sure that you breathe into whatever shape you find yourself in. And that's what's going to guarantee that you can breathe in that shape. If you hold your breath to get into a posture, there's a really good chance you're going to have to hold your breath while you're in the shape itself. So we're here, we're in our puppy pose. If you're pretty open and you'd like to try something just fun, just to see, you can tuck the toes and begin to straighten through the legs. Feel a stretch in the hamstrings. And begin to walk the hands back under the shoulders. Sway the hips side to side. We're going to find our first downward facing dog of the class. So when you're ready, starting in plank pose, checking the space between the hands and the feet. So shoulders over wrists, heels over the balls of the feet, and then begin to lift up through the hips, pulling them all the way up and back as we lengthen through the spine. Deep bend in the knees, a high lift of the heels. Push the top part of the mat away from you, widen the upper back, and then begin to press down through the heels. You may notice the legs straighten a bit, maybe the heels lower, maybe not, but it's that action, that pulling down towards the earth that we're looking for. Again, not having attachment to the heels ever coming all the way down or the legs ever being straight, but finding pleasure, finding reward in the effort that you feel of the sensation of pulling the heels down. You can begin to move here, as always. Options for movement or options for stillness. Noticing where you may feel tight. And place a deep bend in the knees and come forward into plank. Push the hands firmly into the ground, bend the knees, bring the hips back towards the heels. Shooting forward, inhale, pull it back, exhale. Shoot it forward, inhale, shoot it back, exhale. Feel the work. Really push through the feet as you come forward. And as you find yourself in this plank, firm the quads, firm the glutes, pull the belly away from the floor. This is work. And back. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Building heat. 2 more. Knees down, either sitting on the heels or finding a child's pose. Roll through the wrists or do some wrist stretches, just like we did at the start. Trying to build some heat in the center of the body to support us getting into the hips a little heavier today. Again, downward facing dog. Inhale, lift the left leg high. And then bend the knee, open the hip. If you want to do some circles, you can, or maybe just want to stay still. Push hard into the right hand, hard into the left hand. Try and square the chest towards the floor. Extend the leg, keeping the hip open. Now wrap the left hip under. Look forward, step forward. Good. Right knee comes down, left leg straightens. Bend the front knee. Hands plant, tuck the back toe, lift the knee, left foot back, plank pose. Now you have an option to move through a vinyasa of choice. I looked and saw who was in class. I'm pretty sure you guys all would know which vinyasa you like. So you can begin to modify, drop down to knees. You can lower down to the belly. Inhale maybe to locust. And then exhale back to child's pose or down dog. You can move through chaturanga, up dog, and down dog, or you can skip it. On your inhale, reach the right leg high. Bend the knee and open the hip. Again, option to draw circles or not. Then extend the leg. Collarbones are both aiming towards the mat. We're not going to open up through the chest. Wrap the right hip under. Inhale again. And on the exhale, bring it all the way forward. Left knee down. Straighten through the right leg. Noticing the breath, the heat of the body. This would normally be a warm flow class, so I hope you feel warm. Rock forward. Right foot back, both knees lifted, moving through a vinyasa option, or you can do 3 of those little shooting actions, like a tiger ready to pounce. Building strength, building heat. Strength, heat. Down dog. Pedal it out. Inhale, the right leg lifts. Step it all the way forward. Drop the left knee down, and then walk the right foot wide. So now we're in this lizard lunge. And again, it's pretty early, so if you want to walk the foot out wider and let the toes come out, go ahead. You can stay high up with the chest, staying on hands. You can even use the right hand to open up a bit more. And lean forward so that you're not on the back kneecap. This is going to be important as we begin to bend through the knee, reach back for a quad stretch. If you'd like this to be more muscular effort, squeeze. Use the muscles of the back of the leg, of the glute, of the hamstring to really pull the heel towards the glute. If you want this to be more deep, stretchy, you can pull the heel towards the glute with the arm. And the hand comes towards the inside of the leg. You're going to bring the right foot on the inside of the hands. Lift the back knee. Again, plank pose. Option for that vinyasa or to skip it. Inhale, lift the left leg. Step it all the way forward. Right knee down. Left foot comes wide on the mat. Both hands to the center. Maybe finding some movement, some swaying. Maybe that foot comes out wider, heel in, toes out, left hand to left knee. Making sure we're leaning forward, making room for the bend of the knee so we're not hurting our patella. Keep the belly pulled in. Don't let the abdominal wall soften here. We need the support. So we're nice and firm. Finding the action of the muscles to pull the heel in. Maybe you're reaching back with the arm, noticing where we're at. Soft bend in the supporting elbow as well. We're not hyperextending. I myself am hypermobile, so know that whenever I'm reminding you of that, it's usually me also reminding myself. So we're in that together, you guys. Feel the stretch of the quad, the work of the back body. Softly release. Hands to mat. Foot to the center of the hands. Tuck the back toe, lift the knee. Left foot back, vinyasa option. All of these are options. You can also come down to forearms and hold a forearm plank to strengthen the core without being on the hands or overdoing our shoulders, okay? Inhale, lift the right leg. We're from down dog. We're going to step it all the way forward, but this time we're stepping it straight to the outside of the right hand. And we're keeping the left knee lifted, okay? And then I want you to walk the foot forward just a bit and then lean the heart down. So we're kind of chaturanga-ing through the arms, so bent arms. And we're nuzzling our right shoulder to the inside of the right knee. And then find counter pressure. So we're pushing the knee to shoulder, we're pushing shoulder to knee. Maybe the right hand can reach through the leg. Can you push down through the feet so hard and then pull the feet apart that maybe you can also lift the left hand like we're flying? Maybe spirit fingers. Maybe we come all the way up. Use the muscles. Open the chest. Maybe open through the heart. If you'd like a twist here, you can take a twist by letting the right hand come down the back of the back leg, left arm up and over, but that twist is very optional. Hands down. We're going to squeeze right knee to right tricep. Push the floor, so really protract through the shoulders. Push the floor away. Tuck the right heel in towards the right glute, mountain climber. Send it back, three-leg dog. Option to take a vinyasa, keeping the right leg lifted, or skip it all together. It's a lot of movement today, I know. Lift the left leg. Look forward. Step the left foot all the way forward on the outside of the left hand. Inch that left foot forward just a bit more. Get cozy with that left shoulder to the inside of the left knee. Find the counter pressure. That squeeze is important. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. Press, press, press. Float the left hand. Push down through the feet. Engage through the back glute. You're tearing the mat apart. Push down through the feet. The right hand floats. Looking forward and down. Pushing so hard through the feet now that you're strong, the torso begins to float up towards the sky. We're strong. Enjoying the work, not attached to the shape. Let that be the magic of your practice today. Hands plant. Whew. Okay, squeezing the inside of the left knee towards the left tricep. Cat back here, really rounding the upper part of the spine. Left heel to left glute, mountain climber. Send it back, three-leg dog. Optional vinyasa here. And then you're going to look forward and you're going to maybe bring your hands a little bit closer in towards each other. I'll show you. And your feet a little wider apart. You're going to bend through the knees, deep, deep bend like we did before. And we're going to bring the chest forward, but we're also going to bring the feet forward. And we're going to hop into our malasana. So bend the knees and pounce, just like that. Again, find counter pressure, knees to elbows, elbows to knees, lifting through the crown. Option to find some movement here or to find some rest. If you'd like to sit on a block or two, sit on a block or two. If you can safely invert, you may invert at home. But you guys, I can't see you, I can't be there to catch you, so only do it if it's something you would do in the studio and you're well seasoned with it. Finding where you need to be, again, noticing what your attachment is. If you feel like you have to invert because the option was given, That's an attachment, friend. Let that go. Just enjoy being. Hands down to the mat, hips up towards the sky, and then press the hips right to left. Find ragdoll here. Maybe begin to bend the knees as you find ragdoll. A really watery or snaky-like movement. Heel toe the feet back under the hips. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, Uttanasana. Plant the hands. We'll move through a vinyasa here if you like, or you can just step back, downward facing dog. Yogi's choice. Once you get here, we're going into our pigeon pose. Inhale, lift the right leg. Bring right knee behind the right ankle behind the left wrist. I may have said that wrong, but you guys know what I meant. If you need support under the right hip, the right glute, please place some support right there. Keep the chest lifted to start. This pose is intended to be a back bend, so allow that lumbar to have a nice curve. Nice natural curve. Lifting high through the heart. Maybe taking weight off the hands. Pull the belly in. Option here to bend through the back foot, bend through the back knee. You can reach back. I know I'm facing the wrong way here, but you can find your mermaid by finding the bind that way. If your quad is really open, your shoulders are naturally open, back is open, you can go towards your Ekapada Rajakapotasana, that king pigeon pose. But we haven't done much to prep that, so I'm not personally going to demonstrate that. I think going into that cold would be unwise. So trust your body. Enjoy the effort. Notice the shin. If you have your heel pretty close into your pelvis, perhaps you can bring the heel away from the pelvis a bit, making the shin more parallel with the front edge of the mat. And notice what that does, if it deepens the sensation. Keep wrapping the left hip, the left front of the pelvis forward. And now, if you'd like to go ahead and find your sleepy pigeon, resting forward on forearms, you certainly can. Or even melting into it completely. Chest towards leg. Of course, finding any variation along the way that gives your body the support it needs. So if that's a bolster or blocks for forearms, taking that option as well. What we're doing here is really just trying to let the body know that this external rotation of the hip is safe. So spending some thoughtful time here, breathing, respecting the edges of the body, that's what'll do it. Start preparing to let the hands come back towards the mat. You're going to tuck the back toe and then bring the knee forward, bring the toe forward. You see that little weird inchworm thingy I did? It's going to help as you push into the floor and bring that leg all the way back and up. It might feel nice here to open up through the hip. If you'd like to step that foot behind and begin to lift up the right hand and find a wild thing, you can find your wild thing. If you'd like some strength in a side plank, you can find strength in a side plank. Either way, make your way back towards plank or down dog. Optional time for vinyasa or just some time to breathe. Either in child's pose or in downward facing dog. Stir around whatever energy, whatever sensation is present in one area of the body and let it disperse. preparing for our pigeon on the other side, down dog. In fact, I'm going to switch weight. No, I'm going to stay. Here we go. Left leg lifts. So left knee behind the left wrist, left ankle behind the right wrist. Slide the back leg long and go ahead and check and make sure it's coming straight out from behind you. It's not off to one side. Notice the front shin, the positioning, if you need any support under the left hip. As we first settle into our pigeon pose, there's a lot of noticing, a lot of awareness that needs to happen because this pose is asking a lot of us. So we need to be ready to answer, to listen to the needs of the body and then respond to them appropriately. So first, again, keeping the chest lifted, weight even off the hands. Pull the belly in, lift the heart up. Soften through the hips. Feel the earth element in the shape. We're really supported by the ground so we can soften. And now I am facing the right way, so you can begin to bend through that back knee, finding maybe a mermaid or just a quad stretch. There's no pressure, again, to make a certain shape. Instead, just enjoy the sensation of the stretch, of the amount of effort that you're putting in towards your practice. Noticing if any movement would sound really good. Softly landing that back leg, resetting, making sure it's nice and straight. Turning our chest, torso towards the front of the space, perhaps moving the heel away from the pelvis just a bit more as we wrap the front of the right pelvis forward and down towards the floor. And now here we lengthen, inhale, and perhaps we begin to fold forward, letting that space we now have in the spine feel really good, rounded forward. Again, taking perhaps a Sphinx-like option or more of a splat-like option. Perhaps noticing if you need a pedicure like I am. Hands to mat. Heart lifts. Tuck the back toe. Again, watch this funny little scoot. Scoot the knee forward, tuck the toe again, push into the hands, lift the leg. Then open through the hip, perhaps finding that wild thing. Letting it feel really good. Soft bend in the supporting arm. Option to move through side plank. As we bring the left hand back down, move through an optional vinyasa or any other movement that your body is asking for, that your practice would appreciate. Give yourself a few breaths there. Come down to knees, finding a hero's pose, or if that doesn't feel so great in your body, finding a way to sit that does feel great. Perhaps malasana. We're all going to work towards our crow pose for just a moment together because it is going to lead to something fun and funky. So, heels together, toes towards each other. Squeeze the knees in towards each other. Hands down, shoulder distance apart, lift the booty up. Now keeping the big toes towards each other, we're going to widen the knees. And then we're going to bring the insides of the knees to the outsides of the upper arms. And again, find that squeeze, that counter pressure. So we're really creating a lot of tension in those pressure points. And then begin to look forward, rock forward. You can bend through the arms, more of a chaturanga-like shape, or you can keep the arms straight, finding your crane, and maybe you lift just one, maybe you tap, tap. This is a really great exercise using the core, the muscles of the entire body really, or maybe you take flight. Again, protracting, pushing through the floor to find roundness in the upper body, squeezing the legs in, squeezing the heels towards glutes, just like we did before. Staying in the shape a little longer than you maybe feel comfortable. Or maybe listening to that voice that says, I don't enjoy this part of my practice today. I'm coming out of it. And enjoying a sit. A malasana or a child's pose. Giving yourself a few breaths to just enjoy your time in your practice. Loving your practice because it's yours. If you are in your crow pose, and again, you're just feeling fired up and you'd like to take it to tripod, other transitions, this is your time. If you just like to melt towards the earth, become one with the floor, this is also your time. Notice your breath. Change it if you'd like to. Deepen it, slow it down, or maybe just observe it. Let it be. Trust that your body is breathing in the way that it needs to breathe in. Yoga Sutra 246 says, postures should be practiced with steadiness and ease. So perhaps some of these postures we've done today had a little less steadiness or a little less ease. Give yourself grace for that. But let that be something that stays in the back of your mind. Where can I find a little more steadiness, a little more ease? Bring your feet to the floor, hands to the floor, hips to the sky. Again, ragdoll. You can bring the feet as wide as you like. You can find some movement, some swaying. In fact, you can even bring the feet really, really wide in Skandasana. You know, I love a good Skandasana. You can open through an arm. Find fun, flowy-like transitions. Noticing what you notice along the way. Where is sticky? Where's effort? Where's ease? Maybe just a wide leg fold sounds really dreamy to you. And now begin to heel toe the feet back under the hips. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana. Exhale, fold. Press into the feet, sink the hips, Utkatasana. You had to get one chair in. Squeeze the butt, lower the hips. Squeeze the thighs towards each other, lower the hips a little more. Press down, stand up. Okay. We're going to find just a quick knee to chest pose. So rooting down through the left foot, bringing the right knee up. Hugging the knee into the chest. Maybe rolling through the ankle. Here's where we get to our peak pose, you guys. And this is where you test the partnership of your intention to your practice. Do you feel attached to needing to accomplish the peak pose, or can you just enjoy everything you've done along the way without need to do this? Find a figure 4 with your legs. So we're crossing the right ankle in front of the left thigh above the knee. Hands to heart as we begin to sit back into that chair pose. Okay, keep sinking, keep sinking. Now, if you do not want to do the arm balance we're about to do, you have the option to bring fingertips towards the floor, sit towards the heel. And your challenge here is to maybe get one hand up, maybe two. Find that balance, okay? If you're excited and looking forward to trying a funky arm balance, hips back up, okay? Whew. Hands stay towards the floor. Now we're gonna hook. It's just kind of like we're doing flying pigeon, but we're not. I tricked you a little bit. So we're gonna hook the top of the right foot around the left tricep, okay? You're gonna connect both of the triceps to the front of that right shin. You're gonna lift the hips like we're doing our flying pigeon, but you're gonna bring that left knee around front like we're doing half malasana here. Then you're gonna push the shin into the backs of the arms, push the sole of the right foot into the left leg, and float the left leg out. So it's like a half Titi-Basana, half flying pigeon, funky thing. Noticing how that felt. If you're still sitting on the heel, go ahead and come off of it. Roll through the ankles, move through the body, let yourself smile. Let's do the other side. One side will feel easier than the other, probably. This side for me might be a complete disaster. We'll see. So again, hug the knee to the chest to start, rooting down through the right foot. We begin to make that figure 4 shape, hands to heart. Begin sitting into the chair, keeping the heart high. Option to sit towards the heel, find your balance option. Or perhaps you wrap the top of that left foot around the right arm, press shins to the back or shin to the backs of the arms, and then bring that right knee wide. You push the foot into the leg, you push the leg into the foot, and then you extend through the leg as you push into the arms. That side was definitely harder for me. Come out of it when you need to come out of it. Good, guys. Now, let's do just a little bit of boat. We're in front of this gorgeous lake. So let's just imagine that we are a boat in the water. Option to have your boat be toes down, hands pulling the backs of the thighs to lift the heart, or even behind. As long as you feel the belly work as you lean the chest back. Maybe the legs can lift, maybe the arms can reach. Maybe the legs can extend, maybe not. We're gonna find our low boat, hollow body shape. Pull the belly down, flatten it. Maybe the arms come up, handstand. You can flex through the wrists, push through the hands. This is your handstand. Come up, woo. Handstand. Come up. A lot of action here, like you're spring loaded. Up. And now let's slow it down all the way to the floor. Hug the right knee in towards the chest. Stir the knee around. Big circles in one direction, big circles in the other direction. Then go ahead and open up that knee, let the leg be wide. If you'd like, you can grab peace finger to big toe and extend this way. Looking towards the left. As if we're doing just a supine Utthita Hasta Padangusthasana. Big toe to finger hold. So just first opening through the hip. You can come up through center, make it more of a hamstring stretch. Let the shoulders be heavy. So like me just now, if you notice that you're really reaching the shoulders away from the floor and up towards the chin, come down on the leg. Let the shoulders be heavy. Even I had to catch my parigraha there. What was I holding on to? I was really trying to find that reach to the big toe, but that's not what my practice needed. I'm going to find more love for my practice if I honor its limits. And now we'll stretch through the IT band. So go ahead and bring the right knee towards the left shoulder, keeping the hips heavy towards the floor. So that foot crosses the midline, any amount until you feel sensation along the outer of the right leg. And now if you'd like to take the full twist, you can hug the knee in and bring the right knee all the way across the body. Looking out over the right hand or up towards the sky. Back up to center. Hug the knee in one more time. Send it long. Left knee comes in. Again, stir it around. These hips did a lot for us today. We asked them to be strong, to be open, to be able. Can you have some gratitude for the work that your hips did? For the allowance that it gave you to do? Or maybe not do. That's just as important. Keeping that openness of the hip, perhaps extending the leg long, noticing any edges. Using this time to use the breath, slow the body down. The work is done. Let the slow breath lead to a slower heartbeat. Come up through center. That slower heartbeat can let the body soften, relax. And then the mind can follow, mirroring that softness, that stillness of the body, allowing space between thoughts. And in that space, you can find your happiness, your joy. Finding the IT band stretch. Just crossing the midline. Left hip heavy towards the floor. And now going fully into the twist. Welcome any thoughts, any images that come in your mind. Acknowledging them like they want you to, and giving them permission to pass on by. And back up through center. Hug both knees into the chest. Rock side to side. Then plant the feet down and let the feet be as wide as your mat, maybe wider, and let the knees fall in together. Tuck the shoulder blades underneath. Letting the collarbones be broad. Hands on the belly. Perhaps hands on tops of the thighs, and then let there be gentle pressure pushing the tops of your thighs, the femurs, away from the hip, creating just a little extra space. Extend the arms and legs long now. Reaching through the fingers, through the toes. And let's stretch through the side body. So walk the hands and the feet, the top of the head off to the right. You can cross the left ankle over the right. You can grab the left wrist with the right hand. Breathing into the entire left side of the body. Feeling so grounded that as you breathe, the places where the body is touching the ground, touching the surface of the floor, they feel rooted, they feel connected. So everything else that's not connected can expand like a balloon. The entire front of the body, the entire side of the body, breathing and expanding together. now walking through center, aligning the body, maybe another good morning stretch, wiggling fingers and toes, and then finding your banana pose on the other side. Opening up through the right side, continuing to open through the front of the body as well. Welcoming in feelings of joy, of peace, and of gratitude. And take a moment to reflect on your practice. By not holding attachment to making the challenging shapes, were you sometimes surprised that you were able to find them a little bit easier? Almost like they were given to you. Maybe not, but maybe. Find gratitude for the things that we can and we can't do every day, knowing that that's what makes each day the work. There's no such thing as a long life. Time goes by fast, so enjoy every bit that you can. It's hard, I get it. I have a hard time too. But just try. Let there be joy in the trying. Begin positioning yourself in a way that is ideal for your Shavasana. You can prop yourself up. You can use pillows or blankets. Allow the body to feel completely supported, completely safe, and very comfortable. Yoga Sutra 239 says, when we don't want for what we don't have, we understand our true purpose. Perhaps you can think of an intention for the rest of your day. Let that soak into the body and the mind as you find peace and rest in your Shavasana. I'm going to play the harmonium. I do understand that sound, that music, that type of sound isn't for everyone. So this is a good time for you to turn the sound down or even off. But if it is for you, I hope that you enjoy it. Can you feel sensation in the nose as you breathe in? Fresh, crisp air. And then let go of the heat, the staleness out your mouth as you exhale, perhaps sighing relief. Continuing this, inhaling freshness, newness, exhaling staleness, anything unuseful. Inhaling freedom, exhaling attachments. Inhaling release, exhaling anything you've clung to, anything that you've had in your mind as important in your physical practice, that perhaps now you're realizing isn't the true goal, isn't your true goal. Again, feeling that seed of gratitude being planted in the heart space. Letting each breath help feed it, nurture it. It begins to grow very quickly, taking root in the belly, continuing to broaden the chest. Perhaps these branches of gratitude, these limbs being made, begin to break through and shine light through the crown of the head, through the face, like sunshine shining on you. Begin blinking your eyes open, taking in whatever light is in the space you're in. Begin moving through the body. Hands, feet, arms, legs, maybe even the face. Again, no one can see you. You can do weird stuff. And then either take a nice big stretch or a nice big squeeze, hugging the knees in. And then find a side laying position, giving yourself a fresh start for the day. You can pretend that noon is when the day really starts, so you still have some time. And just decide if there's anything you'd like to shed, anything you'd like to leave here, so that as you sit up refreshed, renewed, and ready to go about your day and your life. Finding a seated position, sitting nice and tall, sitting well. Sukhasana, sukha, good space. Let this be a good thing. And then lean the heart back a bit. Feel the sit bones really press down heavy. Bring hands to heart, palms pressing in towards each other. And then bring the thumbs to the forehead, encouraging yourself to have kind thoughts towards yourself. Thumbs towards the mouth to have kind words about others. Thumbs to the heart to feel love for all things and all people. Thank you for letting me be part of your practice today. Namaste.